Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Spring of Sorrow Week 4. Today we're gonna learn what are the 3 best ways to squash a bug. In our game is going to be an Annihilus and everybody just hates Annihilus. So we're gonna go through 3 different bug squashers. The first one is going to be a champion from the Brotherhood of Mutant. Second one is going to be Cosmic with Offensive Burst with damage over time. And the third one is going to be Cosmic with Offensive Burst. I kinda repeated that, but that's okay. So we are going to run through each of them and we're also going to discuss the nodes. So if you're something interested with, make sure to like the video and let me know how this went for you. So let's jump into it. My first champion that I went through, which I think is the best champion to take down this annoying Annihilus, is a Magneto House of X. Now remember, on this video, all 3 champions that I'm using are only rank 4s. They're not ascended. If you have ascended champion, it's an easy solo. Now, why does Magneto House of X work really good? Now, to understand that, first we need to look at the nodes. The first node is going to be Defenders immune to armor break debuffs. Now, that doesn't work to the strengths of Magneto, but he can still play around it. Next one is buffed up, so the defender takes 100% less damage, while as an attacker you have less than 3 buffs. But House of X does get buffs whenever you use a heavy, and also with your basic attacks you get those prowesses on you, so that you can work around. There's also Smothering Constitution, so whenever the defender is struck, there is a 15% chance to inflict that attacker with a Stifle debuff. Now the problem with Stifle is, whenever there is a Stifle debuff applied on you as an attacker, if you dash back, Annihilus consumes that and it becomes unstoppable. So this whole fight is about controlling that Stifle debuff and also controlling the unstoppable. So I'll tell you how to do that. Apart from that, there is Necrotic Boom. So whenever defender uses a non-contact attack during a special attack, if you don't parry it, you're gonna take 10% extra damage and he's more likely to throw an SP1. So you have to keep him to an SP1 through the whole fight. Whew, too much. Anyway, so jumping into the fight, when you start with Wags, you are going to use your pre-fight ability. Now once you use your pre-fight ability, you are able to parry him very reliably. Reliably parry means he is not going to apply Stifle debuff on you. So you can literally go parry, heavy, parry, heavy. You can get up to 3 maximum prowesses with heavies and then with basic attack. So if you notice throughout this fight, I am just using my parry and heavy, and when I have 2 bars of power, I go in with my basic attacks and then an SP2 at the end of it. Now whenever I get the Stifle buff, I make sure that I am away from Annihilus and I just dash back and get the Unstoppable used before jump comes in. But with Magneto, you don't have to worry about that, because Magneto is going to parry every time passively when Annihilus comes in. So even if you have a Stifle debuff and you dash back, that's fine, you don't need to worry about that. And then just throw your SP2s. Earlier I tried to do like rotation of SP3 into SP2s, but that wasn't like the best rotation. And for the SP1s, you notice that I always block the first 2 hits and then I dash back and parry the last projectile. Now his SP1 can be really annoying to deal with. It's difficult sometimes to kind of dex it. So what I found out, the best way is to just block it. Just not just get into all of those shenanigans. Block, dash back, parry. There we go. Just like that, you're good to go for the next XP2. And here we are, 71,000, and the degen is there. And just like that, you can work around with Annihilus. Now, I really feel Magneto House of X is the best champion because he can just passively stun and reliably parry. So if you're having trouble, bring your Magneto House of X. It might cost you 1 or 2 revives, but it would be the easiest time you will have in all the objectives. So you can get 1 for completion and 1 for Brotherhood of Mutants. If that is difficult, these are the other options that you can use for Brotherhood of Mutants. I've seen people use Storms. I've seen people use other champions as well, but yeah, here are the options that you can use, and I hope this fight with Magneto House of X helps with Brotherhood of Mutants. I was able to bring him down to 9%, and then I missed an SP1, and I think I messed up the dex here and I got hit and I died, but I came back to finish off the fight. Now moving on to the next one, we have to do this with a Cosmic champion with Offensive Burst. So we are going to use Gamora. There are other champions, they are on your screen right now. The best one is probably going to be your Serpent, because he's immune to heal block, so that also works in your favor. But I'm gonna use a Gamora, and I'm gonna tell you what is the best way to approach this fight. So backdraft intercept. If you're not aware of that, it's like how you intercept domino. So you're going to use backdraft intercept when you do not have any stifle debuff on you. That is very important. You will notice whenever I get a stifle debuff, I'm away from Annihilus, I just dex back straight away to remove it. So I have a stifle, there we go, block the SP1, just let them use the unstoppable, and as soon as he charges in, I'm gonna dash back, and then light, medium, and if I have an SP1, I go with that. Or if I have a striker, I use a striker into heavy attack into SP1. That helps me keep refreshing my buffs. So the buffs is not a problem when you're using Gamora. The problem here is going to be how you manage the stifle buff. So I have a stifle buff, I dash back, gave him the unstoppable. Now I'm gonna dash back, waiting for him to throw an SP1 here, block the parry. Now I am ready to backdraft intercept, just like that. You notice, as soon as my stifle debuffs are finished, just here, I'm going to dash back, get all the unstoppables done. Now he's gonna throw an SP1 for me. Come on, dude. There we go. Block, parry. Now again, you notice that the SP1 there gave me around 3 stifle debuffs, but instead of just waiting for Annihilus to charge in, I just dash back very quickly so I can consume all those stifle debuffs. And before Annihilus can charge into me, he does not have any kind of unstoppable. So right here, I'm gonna wait for him. And there we go. You saw the backdraft intercept into an SP1. Also, if he does block a little, you can always hit him in the block. The whole thing about this fight is not to get cornered, because that is trouble. So there we go. Backdraft intercept. So by the time Annihilus charges into you and you do a backdraft intercept, if there's any unstoppable on him, that just runs out its timer. So I really want you to focus on this. So let him throw an SP1. There we go. Blocked it. Stifle debuff, I removed it. And then backdraft into 3 hit light into medium into SP1. Trust me, you do that and you should be able to get this fight done easily. This is a rank 1 Gamora. That's it. It's not a rank 2. I've just barely used a 15% attack boost, and that's about it. And I'm able to get through this Annihilus. So basic fight you need to take care is block. Well, I missed the last parry on the projectile. So what you need to do is to get him to throw the SP1s. You block the first 2 hits and the third one you parry. Now, if you do get a stifle, just dash back and let the unstoppable work on him and wait for him to dash in. As soon as he dashes in, it's very important that you don't have a stifle debuff on you when you're going to dash back. Alright, that's very important. So let's look at this once again. So I'm just gonna hit him in the block. Now I got a parry in, I have stifle on me. Now I'm just dashing back, I'm not trying to attack him. Now there is no stifle, I'm gonna backdraft intercept him. Oh well, I got other intercept straight away. So right here, waiting for him to throw an SP1. I don't like to really push him close to 2 bars of power. Backdraft intercept right here, there you go. So the loop for this fight is throw your SP1, wait for Annihilus for his SP1, block the first 2 hits of the SP1, and then parry the last projectile. If you have stifle on you, just keep dashing back until there is no stifle on you and let Annihilus dash in. Dash in, 3 light attacks, 2 medium attacks, into an SP1 or a striker into heavy attack. That will help you finish off the fight quick. So this is the best and the most reliable method I found out. This is the loop and you can use that to kill this bug very quickly. Honestly, in the beginning this fight was annoying, but once I found this loop, it was really enjoyable. So I've already given you some of the other options you can use. But personally, for me, my only option was Gamora. I wouldn't say that she is the easiest option, but if you use these loops, you will be able to get through this fight relatively unscathed. You might have to use a revive or 2. That's fine. The fight is designed in that way to hurt. But here we go. Well, before we jump on to the next objective, that is going to be damage over time, offensive burst, and cosmic champion. Let's recap this. So you use backdraft intercepts to apply damage and give power to Annihilus. Remember, you can only backdraft intercept when you don't have a stifle. Now what happens if you have a stifle debuff on you? You just dash back in your place, and before Annihilus can charge in, you remove the stifle debuff off of you, so the unstoppable is not there when you attempt a backdraft intercept. And once there is none of those stifle debuffs, let him charge in just like this, and there we go. We can backdraft intercept and kill him off. So 2 objectives down, and now the final one is going to be damage over time, or cosmic champion offensive burst, I think. Now I really wasn't a fan of Gorr before this fight, and I was like, man, I know how to like play with this champion. He's too much build up. But after this fight, I really enjoyed playing with this champion. So let's talk about it. Now the concept is the same. Remember, you have to control the stifle debuffs. If you control the stifle debuffs, this fight is much easier, and you can go ahead and do backdraft intercepts. And SP1's always easier way, instead of evading, is to block and then use your parry on the last projectile. Now with Gorr, what you need to do is to build up your buffs. So bleed, you need at least 2, and then you need 2 on your poison, and then 2 on your shock. Once you have 2 of them, then you can start spamming your mediums, and you can start transferring those debuffs on Annihilus, and then with a big SP3. That is the loop. Just build up 2 of each, then use your mediums, get to an SP3, and put a huge SP3 on Annihilus and do that damage. 5 to 6 SP3s should be enough. Again, this is a rank 1 Gorr. If it is a rank 3, oh, the damage you will do, it will be a much faster fight. And after this one, I really think I want to take up my Gorr to at least a rank 2. I can even rank 3 him, so he is very high on the list for me. Now, again, same things what we did in the Gamora fight. We are going to use backdraft intercepts if there is no stifle on Annihilus. And another thing about this fight, Annihilus is very aggressive here. So don't be shy to try and do an intercept straight up just in the block. If it doesn't happen, you're gonna hit him in the block, and while you hit in the block with Gorr, you apply all of those debuffs, and that does a lot of damage to Annihilus. Now I'm also gonna use a Venom Relic here. Now the Venom Relic will give him bleed in vulnerability, and the bleed will do more damage. So there we go. So mediums, I'm applying all of those damage over time, and look at him ticking already. So he's taking quite a bit of damage. We're going back in. I have 2 of each poison and bleed. I'm trying to get the shock, and here I have it. Now I'm gonna wait for the SP1 to trigger so I can block it out. Let's go. I do get hit here, and I nearly die, but the regen on Gorr is just amazing. And because he's heal block immune, the node doesn't really work on him. Here we go. Look at that damage, and now I'm like, okay, this is going so bad. So I'm trying to build up those my buffs again, and I'm down to 4 and 5% health. And I'm like, you know what, let me just see what I can do, maybe throw a big SP3. And I was like, you know what, let me just finish off this fight, and you know, I'll come back and try again. But as I use an SP3 and there is a regen on me, I start ticking up. I start gaining health. I'm like, you know what, let me give it a try, how far I can take this. So right here, there is a stifle buff on me. I know that I need to dash back and remove it, so unstoppable is not there. So again, just slowly. There we go. Again, dash back, stifle is gone. Now an intercept with a light attack. So this is the name of the game, guys. All you need to do is to control the stifle with any champion that has buffs, and you can get this fight done. White Max is an exception. He can just use his passive stuns and he can get through Annihilus easily. But the rest of the fights are going to be all about your controlling the unstoppable against Annihilus, and then you can take him out. So before I go off, here are a few more champions. I think I've already referenced them in the video that can be used on damage over time, cosmic offensive champions. So Having that out of the way, let's recap the fight very quickly. Once the fight starts, you can use your backdraft intercepts and you can build up power on Annihilus and give him an SP1. Make sure that when you do a backdraft intercept, there is no stifle on you so he doesn't go unstoppable. Once that happens, let him trigger an SP1, you block the first 2 hits, you parry the last one, and if you get any kind of stifle, you just dash back very quickly and remove those stifle debuffs on you. And once they are removed, the unstoppable will not be there. Now, if he dashes into you, after that, you don't have a stifle, just dash back and start using your light attacks, light, medium, medium. Then that is enough for you to do all the damage to Annihilus. You control the unstoppable, you win the fight. So, the loop here, the important one is whenever you get a stifle, start dashing back and remove the stifles from you. Once the stifles are removed, let him dash into you and you can backdraft intercept with your light, medium, medium, and you can continue with an SP1 or whatever special attack you want to use, or even a striker is up to you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below and I'll be more than happy to help you out. Apart from that guys, I hope you all have an amazing day and I'll see you next time. Bye.